There's no doubt, in order to have a sustainable future, countries around the world need to transition to greener energy supplies. For Europe, many who have been reliant on Russian oil and gas for decades are facing an increase in pressure to make the switch. Some countries are further ahead than others. Renewable energy sites, however, are digitalised and can't operate without computers. And that's what's leaving green energy supplies vulnerable to attack.
You can destroy a wind turbine just by hacking into kind of the operating system of the turbine. If someone were able to get in and orient the blades in a way that exceeds the design threshold, then you could break the blades. You could perhaps even cause the blades to spin at a rate that would potentially build up enough friction to cause a fire inside the nacelle. So how do we protect against that?
NATO scientists, researchers and energy experts gathered in Finland and Sweden for exercise Nordic Pine, enabling them to discuss solutions for the future protection of renewable energy sites from hybrid warfare.
The renewable energy sector is very important to us for obvious climatic reasons. It's also a relatively new sector for us, so it makes sense for us to look particularly closely at the vulnerability of the renewable energy sector to the source of modern hybrid warfare that we look at.
And when we talk about hybrid warfare, we're really talking about the use of both conventional or sort of military actions and also unconventional or non-military actions. And that can look like tearing down the population's belief in their government.
One part of hybrid threats, one vector they can use is attacking infrastructure. And energy is part of that infrastructure. It is a service which people expect to have. They rely on energy for their normal day of life.
If we look at Ukraine, for example, it's become a part of the warfare against Ukraine to hit the energy sector because that weakens the whole society to be able to survive. The will of resistance. You have very cold winters and people are suffering. So basically, civilian infrastructure have become a target.
This is Jönköping Energy, a renewable energy company which supplies 57,000 customers with light, power, heating, cooling and internet.
The energy system is fundamental for the entire society to function. Every other critical organization is dependent on energy, heating from us and also the fiber network broadband. We make everything else function, which makes us an easy target too. We're working intently with preparedness and contingency plans. So we need to look at organization and staffing, what resources we need, what are our critical processes, and to make sure that everything functions as planned, regardless of what happens, really.
In parallel to this transition towards more greener and more sustainable energy supply, we also need to think the resilience now and not when the system is already set up or running, but that's something that needs to be done hand in hand so that we are sure that the system is transitioning in a sustainable way and in a resilient way.
The Nordic Pine exercise is good with combined actors from different industries so that we can see which dependencies we have from each other and that we're not alone working with these issues.
It's important to get NATO involved, the allied countries, nations, because all of the nations are contributors to the collective security of NATO. So if we are basing scenario and planning in NATO upon reliability of energy systems, then this is something that you have to keep in mind, that these systems are there, they are vulnerable, they have a huge impact if you don't mitigate the risks. So all in all, I think it's both for NATO and both for the member nations, it's very important to be aware of it.